Is the $20,000 expedition ship worth it? That's the question every cruiser asks before booking Antarctica. We just spent 22 days finding out the answer on a ship that went to both Antarctica and Patagonia for a fraction of that price.
We sailed the Holland America Oosterdam from Santiago, Chile to Buenos Aires, Argentina. 4 countries, 2 continents, the honest verdict on Antarctica and Patagonia coming up.
Hi y'all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're cruising a good time. There are 4 major cruise lines that cruise to Antarctica. Those are Holland America, Celebrity, Princess, and Norwegian.
And there are many expedition cruise lines which sail to Antarctica. And these ships must carry 500 passengers or less. And the shore excursions can only take 100 people at a time that actually land on the land in Antarctica. However, the cost for taking 2 people on these expedition type cruises is over $20,000 to take these instead of a major cruise line.
And the major cruise lines will generally give you a lot more ports in South America and in Patagonia. For example, our ship on the Oosterdam, we sailed for 22 days and we saw 10 ports total. So we got a lot of cruising in on this cruise.
And in South America, on 4 different ports, we could see penguin colonies via shore excursions.
Yeah, there's no shortage of these penguins down there, that's for sure. There's plenty of penguins to be seen.
Our cruise went to so many amazing places, and we're going to be issuing several different videos. We're going to issue one video that's just on Antarctica and different ones on some of these amazing ports. And we're going to issue one on the 4 ports that has great penguin viewing: Ushuaia, Puerto, Puerto Madryn, and the Falkland Islands. These videos should be useful whether you're cruising to Antarctica or to Patagonia.
Before we get started, we invite you to subscribe right now. We publish weekly with a lot of quality cruise content on a variety of different topics on ships and destinations and itineraries and everything else. So be sure to give us a subscribe so you don't miss any of this critical information.
Let's do a quick overview of the itinerary.
Yeah, it was a wonderful itinerary that we had on this ship. We sailed out of Santiago, went south into the Chilean Fjords, crossed through the Straits of Magellan, and in through the Beagle Channel, crossed the Drake Passage into Antarctica, where we spent several days down there, came back up, caught the Falkland Islands, back into Argentina, Uruguay, and finally ended in Buenos Aires.
So we flew into Santiago a day before our cruise, which is always a great idea. We had a private tour that saw some beautiful highlights of the city. So enjoyed going up at high places and just getting great overlooks of the city. And the next morning we took a shore excursion from Holland America that stopped at a winery, and then we boarded the ship in San Antonio.
The first day was a sea day, and that was our first day to see whales. It was right out of the chutes. We saw whales right away, saw whales a lot in this cruise. And then we went into Puerto Montt next. And this is the gateway into the Lake District of Chile. Has a lot of volcanoes. It's really a pretty cool place to go to. When we were there, it was a lot of fun because they had a little festival going on right there in downtown to raise some money for the local fire department. And it was just fun to take in. They had some food right there and souvenirs to buy. We had a good time.
It was so amazing. So this whole adventure that was there was for the locals, and it was very authentic, and it really felt heartwarming for me.
In Puerto Montt, we did the Petroju Falls, lake cruise, and Chilean countryside shore excursion through Holland America.
Our next stop was a smaller port, Puerto Chacabuco. And this was pretty great because we got on a smaller boat. We went up and saw some more Chilean Fjords and went to some natural hot springs. Yeah. This was so much fun. It was beautiful. We really enjoyed our day. Oh, saw some dolphins along the way. Yep. Just a great time.
It was a lot of fun. After that, we sailed south through the Chilean Fjords, saw several glaciers on several different days as we made our way through these fjords. And those glaciers were really spectacular. I think they're better than what you could see up in Alaska in many cases. However, The ones in Antarctica were so spectacular that I was glad we did the cruise going this direction. Had we seen the glaciers in Antarctica first and then these may have been a little bit of a letdown, as great as they were.
Our next stop, Punta Arenas, Chile. This remote town, pioneered by Yugoslav settlers and sheep ranchers, sits on rolling hills overlooking the Strait of Magellan. This is the first place where we could actually go see penguin colonies. The ship offered excursions to Magdalena Island Penguin Reserve. However, all of these shore excursions were filled up for this, so we went on hiking on the Straits of Magellan. Before that, we walked around the city. We went to the Maritime Museum. We went to this amazing restaurant. This is an absolutely incredible port.
And then we sailed out of there. We went south, cut through the Beagle Channel, and part of the Beagle Channel is nicknamed Glacier Alley because it has a lot of spectacular glacier viewing. It must have been a dozen glaciers we sailed by right there. All of them really good viewing right there. It was a lot of fun to take that in.
Oh, it was amazing. And then we sailed into Ushuaia.
It's nicknamed the end of the earth because it's the southernmost city on the planet. And we saw some great penguin views right there.
We took a fabulous shore excursion. We took the Beagle Channel by catamaran, Les Escaleres Lighthouse, and Magellan Penguin Rookery. You spend a lot of time on the water, but this was the first time we saw penguins, and it was absolutely enchanting. Those baby penguins were so adorable and so full of energy.
I wish we had a few more hours in the city to go walk around on that because the shore excursion we did took up almost our whole time that we had in port. So then the next morning we sailed by Cape Horn, and this was really another great thing we had with the cruise itinerary we chose because we actually stopped there. We were able to get some views of the lighthouse and everything else right there at the area. Sailed around a few of those islands in that area. A lot more viewing than just buzz cutting right past the Cape and heading for the Drake Passage.
Yeah, we had seen a lot of other ship just like sped on through, and we really enjoyed our viewing there.
Then after that, it was the very famous or infamous Drake Passage for us, and I was actually looking forward to this because I've always wanted to say I've sailed the Drake Passage, and I have twice now. For the Drake Passage, it was calm, but it was pretty rough. We probably had some 15, 20-foot seas in there. A lot less than what it could have been. The captain did a great job navigating around some storms in there, and we're able to dodge those storms successfully.
So you get through the Drake Passage, you wake up, and you're in Antarctica. And it is the most amazing place that I have ever seen.
One nice thing Holland America does is they open up the bow of the ship so you can go out there and view whatever you're looking at. I stepped out on that bow that morning, and all I could think of was ice. A lot of ice. Ice was everywhere. These glaciers were thousands of feet tall. They were everywhere, all the way around us. It was just absolutely amazing how much ice was there.
And I was actually flabbergasted the fact that Antarctica grows twice in size. The amount of ice is there over the season. So we're actually there when there's less ice. It was so phenomenal. And the weather there, it is so important. And no matter what type of ship you're on, it is all about the weather and being able to have a great captain who can change plans and adapt for the most amazing viewing. And our captain, Captain Kevin, was so fabulous. And he would give us these talks where we'd see all the weather maps. We'd hear what he heard from other captains. He'd worked with so many of the other captains that were on the other ships. He'd worked with them in the past. It was positively glorious and hysterical to go to his lectures. And he would show us those maps, and like we started off on plan A, this is what we're going to do. And I think by the end of the trip, we were on plan O. Yeah. And I don't think this is unusual, but they do this to maximize what you can see, where you can go. It was incredible.
And there's so much wildlife. I mean, there's penguins everywhere. I mean, they're in the water, they're on the ice, or on the rocks. There's penguins everywhere.
On the icebergs.
On the icebergs. But there is also so many whales. I mean, I thought we saw a lot of whales up in Juneau, but holy cow. There's a lot of whales in Antarctica, and we saw sleeping humpbacks right there. You know, they were just kind of bobbing in the water sleeping. We saw a huge pack of orcas. There's just whales everywhere.
Yes, and you know, this topic is just so huge on everything we saw and did while we were in Antarctica. We are going to issue a separate video.
Yeah.
But we saw over 24 orcas, and they were on the hunt. They were after the penguins. That was just incredible viewing, though rather cold.
Another part of wildlife that Antarctica has no shortage of is birds, and birds beyond penguins. There's a lot of birds out there. They're all over the place.
So it was very interesting to see all these birds that I've never seen before and identify them. And then we also saw just some beautiful icebergs. The ice, we just like so beautiful. And some amazing growlers. And I loved seeing the penguins on top of them. It was just a phenomenal experience.
And now we can say we've been to the South Shetland Islands, in addition to the Shetland Islands up in Scotland. So it was kind of a little notoriety right there. After 4 days of Antarctica, we headed out for the Drake Passage up to the Falkland Islands. We had to cut out a few hours early to avoid some storms. There's 3 large hurricane-force storms that were circling the globe around the southern sea there, and we had to kind of shoot the gap in between a couple of them. Captain Kevin did an exceptional job with that. We had a little bit of seas in there, not more than 20 feet, and then we were into the Falkland Islands. And that is one windy place.
You know, what's amazing about the Falkland Islands, right, is I had done a lot of research on different cruise ships that have gone to Antarctica. And many, many cruises I had seen had missed the Falkland Islands due to the high winds. But Captain Kevin, in his 3 years doing this, had never missed the Falkland Islands. And in fact, when we were there, it was amazingly windy. It was actually picking stuff off the ground and blowing it at us when we were on shore. I guess stuff being penguin droppings. And but Captain Kevin got us in, and we had such an amazing day. The Falkland Islands is such an incredible place to visit. It has really cool history. The streets are beautiful. I love walking through it. We had a fabulous meal. You know, we're definitely going to cover this on the penguin viewing aspect on our penguin video, and we may do a separate video on the sightseeing. We're still thinking about that one.
It's a great location to see some king penguins for us. They have 4 different species of penguins on the Falklands, and if you get a chance to go, you definitely need to hit it.
Yes, when we were there, the specific excursion we did was the Bluff Cove Penguin Rookery. And so we got to see some of the baby penguins for both. It was fabulous. And once again, we got to see penguins both on land and in the water. In fact, the 3 places that we viewed penguins, we got to see them both on land, swimming, jumping in and out. It was really great.
Our next port was Puerto Madryn in Argentina, and there we went to Punta, which is a huge penguin reserve right there. There's anywhere, estimates of 500,000 to 1 million penguins there, and I believe it. They're all over the place. It's really cute to go in there and watch. They'll just cross the path right there in front of you going through that.
It's breathtakingly gorgeous. I highly recommend that you do this tour. They have lots of buses that go there, but we took the private tour, truthfully, so we'd have a little more time there. It's a long drive. We'd be more comfortable, and we'd have a more authentic lunch.
And by the way, they make a fantastic steak right there at Punta Center right there. So in Argentina, it's all about steak and red wine. So it's a great place to go eat.
Our next stop was Punta del Este. And this is like the Miami Beach, if you will, of South America. Yeah. This is a big tourist place. It's the summertime for them when we were there. And just a reminder that it's very warm here. So the packing for this trip, you really have to think about all the ports you're going to see. Yeah. And this is one that you definitely don't want to wear the same clothes as that you're wearing in Antarctica. They have some terrific beaches for swimming here and a lot of really wonderful things to see. We really enjoyed walking around, different tours, and some fabulous local food and beer. And one of the things I loved about Punta de Este is that when we're walking there to the end of the pier, they had like a little fish market, if you will, and they were filleting fish, etc. And there are some sea lions that are there begging for food that are adorable. So if you haven't seen sea lions at one of the other ports, this is so easy of viewing, and it's all for free.
The next port was Montevideo, and also in Uruguay, and that was a lot of fun. It's, you know, the capital of the country. We did a private tour that took us into a couple different wineries, did a lot of wine tasting there, and then some sightseeing through the middle part of town. A lot of fun there to go take that in. We really enjoyed that city.
One of the things we loved about our cruise is that we had a day for short excursions in Buenos Aires, and we stayed the night. And then since flights that are leaving the continent typically leave pretty late in the day, you have 2 days of sightseeing at Buenos Aires without booking a hotel and staying extra days. And one of the things we did was we went on a shore excursion on life on the Pampas and really enjoyed it. These folks have put together an amazing show. We had absolutely fabulous food. I just can't say enough about what a great time I had on that shore excursion.
I really enjoyed that. You know, they had the dancing and all that, but what these guys could do on horseback was amazing. They would ride with a little pole, and they would stab like a little hole. It's amazing what these guys do that at a full gallop on a horse.
It was just incredible in that, you know, it was very pretty countryside, and we got to see a lot of different animals. It was just a fabulous day.
Yeah. Then on the second day, we did a tango show on the way to the transfer to the airport, and it had a little city tour with it. We were able to go down, see the famous balcony where Evita did all her speeches and all that, walk around the center part of the town, did a tango tour, had a great lunch, and then they ended up at the airport where we could catch our overnight flight back home.
We also got to see where Evita was buried. And there are very interesting stories about her life and also about her body after death.
So Becky, the big question after all that, do you regret not going on an expedition ship to Antarctica?
I do not regret not going on expedition ship. This was the trip of a lifetime. This was such an adventure. We had such a fabulous time. And I so loved visiting Patagonia and all those places in South America. I have one slight regret. I really wish that I had been able to trek through the snow and seen, you know, penguins in the snow in Antarctica. So although I could see them from the ship in Antarctica, you know, I didn't trek through the snow and see them in the snow. However, the penguin viewing that we had in South America was absolutely phenomenal. Yep. You know, you're not allowed to go up to them. Boy, they come up to you. So I saw penguins very close up, and so many baby penguins and penguins of different types. It was the journey and adventure of a lifetime. Are you disappointed you didn't actually get to walk on the continent of Antarctica?
No, not at all. You know, when we booked the cruise, I was really worried about that, right? I had thought a lot, but having done it, having seen it the way we saw it, I know that I've been to Antarctica without any doubt about it. We spent 4 days down in there, and we saw a lot of wildlife. We saw every weather that could throw at us, from snow to sunshine and everything else. So yes, I feel like I've been to Antarctica, and I have no regrets about missing an expedition type ship.
I was so surprised that our captain could bring the ship so close to the different land masses there in Antarctica. So a lot of places are very deep. He could come in very close. And we saw just the most amazing ice caving. And we had to leave as the waves were coming in. And I'm not sure that the expedition ships would have been able to get up as close as we were for that just fabulous view. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a hype.
And subscribe right now, because we have a lot of content coming out on both Patagonia and Antarctica and several of the ports of call we've been to. So you don't want to miss any of this critical cruise content.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.